I'm going to go over a quick deadlift cues video. I'm just going to talk about three things. They're going to be your placement, positioning, and kind of what I think about when I'm pulling, when I'm deadlifting. I'm just going to go over those things real quick. And if you guys have any specific questions after that, just let me know and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. As far as placement is concerned, what I like to do is I just put my shins in the center of where the knurling, like the rough part and the smooth part kind of end, and that's kind of where I like to go. So another thing you can do to kind of figure out where your placement is, you could kind of get into like a two-footed jump. So just start, and then wherever you kind of like put your feet when you're about to jump is like a good spot to start your conventional pulls. And after that, you kind of play with it. So just start off with that, especially if you're new to deadlifting, and then kind of move from there. As far as your hands, I see too many people making the mistake of keeping their hands way too far out. So this way, so this is kind of like a snatch grip deadlift. So just kind of like start off just close to your legs. So you don't want to be touching your legs for the most part. You want to be a little bit out, but you want to be as close as you can to kind of limit the range of motion. So if you're too far out like this, you're gonna have to bring the bar out a lot more when you're far out. As far as positioning is concerned, what you want to kind of do is you want to have your foot basically cut in half with the bar. So you want to have the middle of your foot over the bar, which leaves me, while I'm standing, about like an inch or like an inch and a half of space. So once you have that inch and a half of space, you set your feet. This is basically the part where I'm getting basically all of my body tight. So as I'm coming down, as you'll see in a second, I'm getting my upper back nice and tight. I'm getting a good breath of air into my core. I'm trying to get my core nice and tight, and I'm loading my hamstrings. And I'm using the bar to do this. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using the bar, I'm pulling the slack out of the bar, and I'm just getting ready to pull. And I'll try to explain pulling the slack out in the next video. Alright, so I'm going to give you guys a quick analogy. Hopefully this helps on pulling the slack out of a bar. So if you guys seen like Dragon Ball Z or like any other movie where they're trying to pull a sword out of like a rock or
Gohan, you did it! The Z sword is free!
think about that when you're pulling. So basically what you want to do is you kind of set your feet and you push down into the floor as you're trying to pick up the bar or the sword in this case. So you don't just walk up to the sword and just yank it up. You can't just like pull it up with your back. You try to press down into the floor. So think about like the floor as like a leg press mat in this case, and just keep pressing down into the floor and then popping your hips in, and that's basically it. So hopefully that helps. So two bad things you want to stay away from is trying to get too low. So some people like to think that you have to go all the way down here and then pull it up like a squat. And that's not the most efficient way to pull. And another thing people like to do is they like to start way too close to the bar. They come down and grab it, and they're way too forward. The shoulders are way too forward from the bar. And this kind of makes you pull like all of your back, and that's not a good idea. Set your feet, come down, grab the bar, and you already from this position want to come down and start pulling. So you see that? If you hear that right there, that's pulling the slack out. So you want to just come down, you're pulling the slack out, you're pressing into the floor with your feet, and from here all you do is press down into the floor and pop your hips in. That's about it. So that's it. Boom. As you approach the bar, you want to walk up, put your foot, the middle of your foot over the bar, and try to have your shoulders over the bar for the most part. So that'll keep you away from doing anything that's too far forward or too far back. So you want to have your shoulder from a side angle, then have your shoulder in the middle of your foot, basically over the bar. And that'll give you guys the best leverage and the safest, in my opinion, leverage to pull. So walk up, middle of your foot, come down, grab the bar, and from here you get tight. So you're pushing your feet into the floor already from here, and you're getting tight, and you basically leg press the weight down and hips in. That's it. Okay, so I had a couple of questions on my Instagram, so I'm gonna just go ahead and answer those right quick. Keeping your head straight, or like if it moves and stuff like that, as far as that, it doesn't really matter. Just do what's natural. Don't try to force yourself into any position. Like, don't try to keep yourself into any position. I have heard people like try to like force their neck down, so I guess, and they say it works for them, but personally I don't like to mess around with that. I just kind of let my head do whatever, just naturally. I'll try to make a squat video. I'm not the best squatter. I'm not the best bench or deadlifter either, but I'll give it my best shot and try to tell you guys what I kind of go through, especially at a beginner level. How do you maintain your core by doing multiple reps? So what I like to do is I like to reset. So if you guys saw in the videos, I kind of like come down and then I tighten up. So every single rep, usually I kind of back off my legs and then I tighten up again. So you could do that. Or you could try to do tap and go. So that's a good variation you could do. If you're doing high reps for like, you know, a certain block or something like that, you could do tap and go. Just make sure it's like a soft tap and go. Don't try to like slam the weight on the floor, and just try to stay tight. And if you still can't keep your core tight, just drop the weight and practice, and then, you know, try to bring your weight up week by week slowly and make sure you're doing it right. Why am I so strong? I don't know, man. I'm not, but I try my best. Knee sleeves benefit during deadlift, not very much. I usually do one on my left knee because it's like a trick knee, so my knees, that knee is just always kind of buggy, so I just put it on, and at this point it's just like I just put it on no matter what. Like, even if my knee doesn't hurt, it's just on. It's just personal preference. It's not really adding any weight to my deadlift. I love you too. The last question, conventional versus sumo. I didn't get to get into sumo pulls this one because it's just entirely own different beast. I think sumo is like a technically harder lift to master. Personally, for me at least, for some people it might be like secondhand nature to them, but it was a lot more difficult for me to learn sumo rather than conventional. But as far as like getting stronger and what muscles are worked, it's pretty much the same thing. I would suggest playing with one, spending a lot of time doing one and then spending a lot of time doing the other, and I think you'll kind of realize what you could lift the most weight with, and that's the best for you, like progressive overload wise. I definitely recommend doing both here and there. If you're competing, obviously stick to the one that you're most comfortable and strongest and the safest with. But yeah, that's basically it. I'll try to make a sumo video like later on if you want me to, kind of give you my like what I think about, but yeah, that's basically it, man. Thank you guys for the questions. It really means a lot to me that you guys asked me. Even the troll questions, it's fun to answer them either way. Yeah, if you guys ever have any other questions, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. I'll try my best to answer them. I'm not ever going to say that I'm going to give you guys the 100% best answer. I'm going to give you guys the answer that I've learned over my years of powerlifting. I'm not by any means like an advanced powerlifter or anything like that. I'll just try to give you guys the best I can. So that's it, man. Thank you.